Are you smarter than the 5th grader?
You think you're smarter than a 5th grader?
It's crazy because I've seen so many videos like these on YouTube. I would never expect someone to be sitting out here and really testing people's knowledge.
Okay, you want to give it a shot?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Well, there are 2 very easy questions and have to do with water.
All right.
So here's the first one. So I have 3 water bottles here and they're halfway filled with water, and I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier to see. I also added a red ping pong ball in there. So another thing is that all of these water bottles are at rest, but how I'm showing them to you, what's the difference between them?
One is upside down. The left one, number 1, is upside down.
Okay.
And the third one is kind of straight, but it's like sideways. So
Can you put it in the orientation it should be? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh,
how did you know, if I may ask? You want to take some information? Yeah, you could take it with you. Yeah. So how did you know?
Clearly because that's not how gravity is supposed to work, I guess. Clearly that's not how gravity is supposed to work. You can't have, well, technically this can happen with my hydro flask, like it can happen, but like, I don't know, that is a really good question.
Shoot. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Strong wind today, man. Hold them down, but yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
So again, gravity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, the water cannot sit on top of the air. God damn.
Yeah, the wind is really trying to take out your whole entire set.
It is. Okay, so you got the first one. It had to do with orientation, and you figured out the correct position.
Yes.
All right, perfect.
Yes.
So that's the first one.
Also because of like buoyancy, how like the water flows.
Buoyancy
Yep.
goes up.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so this next one, I have 3 box trucks halfway filled with water. And this one of the trucks is at rest, one is accelerating forward, and one is accelerating in reverse. So which one is at rest?
Which one's at rest? So I kind of want you to clarify. What is A doing exactly?
Okay, so I guess I'll tell you then.
Yeah.
So A is accelerating forward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
so all the water from the back is going to rush forward. That could cause the truck to pop off.
So when we accelerate in this direction, the water pushes back in this direction. When we accelerate in this direction, the water pushes back in this direction. And when it's at rest, the water is just level. So B is at rest because the water is level. This is accelerating forward because the water pushes back. And this is accelerating in reverse because the water is pushing back.
Okay, gotcha.
So again,
Okay, that makes more sense.
exactly, again, that happens 100% of the time. Even when I accelerate down, the water wants to push up.
Wow.
Exactly.
Okay.
So let me show you this. So when I release this into free fall, before I show you that, do you believe gravity accelerates this down to the ground? Like this?
No.
You don't believe gravity pulls it down to the ground?
It probably does. It probably does, but then sometimes the water wants to resist it and it wants to go back up. So sometimes there's like almost like intense grab.
Okay. So let me show you. This is actual acceleration on the right versus free fall. In the actual acceleration, we can actually see the effects of acceleration, water displacing.
Oh.
In free fall, we have no effects of acceleration because I don't know if you knew, gravity is actually just a theory.
Yeah, gravity
And
is.
the reason why is because they never measured a force in free fall. So the fact is, gravity's not pulling you down to the ground, it's the ground pushing up against you.
Oh, that is actually really.
So when you release an object, the object doesn't move down to the ground, it's the ground that moves up to the object.
Oh, okay.
So if we can prove that it's the ground pushing up against you and it's not pulling you down, and you believe the Earth is a globe, right?
Yep.
Up is relative on a globe. How can the Earth be moving up on a globe?
This is a good question. And there are some people out there that believe the Earth is flat, so
I would say
they could. Yeah, people have mixed interpretations, I guess.
So the fact is, if the Earth is pushing up against you, and we could prove that, it wouldn't work from a globe. That would debunk the whole globe Earth model because, again, they require gravity to be a pulling
true,
force.
and like the orbital axis.
Orbits, how planets are created. All of this relies on the idea of gravity being a pulling force, but that doesn't exist. Again, the only force that exists in nature is push. Pull doesn't exist as a force. It's only a description of direction. Pull is when you push something towards you, we say pull.
Gotcha.
But the mechanism is still push.
Gotcha.
So before you go,
yeah, of course.
this is how we know the Earth is pushing up. You know what buoyancy is?
Yes.
What is buoyancy?
Well, buoyancy is almost like if you place an object on water, it's gonna float sometimes, but it just depending on the weight of the object,
the density.
It might either like yes. So basically, it might sink or it might be raised up. Like for an example, you throw a basketball into the water, right? It will come straight back up because of the amount of volume in that water is pushing the basketball up.
Exactly.
But if you put like an anchor in there, it's gonna go all the way down
because sink.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So buoyancy, like you said, it pushes up. Buoyancy is a force. It's an effect of a force. So here, again, I have a helium balloon in a cargo van and an apple on a string. What direction would you say I accelerated? To the right or to the left?
You accelerate to the right?
Yes, exactly. So what happens is when I accelerate to the right, the van is carrying the air with it. So the air is also able to push the helium balloon in that same direction because it's more dense. The air cannot carry or push the apple because it's more dense than the air. So the apple only appears to swing back. But that's because the container is moving towards the apple. The apple's not moving towards the container. So that motion of the container moving is pushing the air, which is pushing the helium. So buoyancy is a chain reaction of motion. So again, because matter cannot move on its own. So when you release a helium balloon, the air is pushing up the helium, but what's pushing up the air?
Ooh, good question.
It's the Earth.
Yeah.
Exactly. So buoyancy proves that the Earth is pushing up, and it's not pulling us down. So again, gravity is a requirement of the globe Earth, because without this belief in gravity being a pulling force, you can never introduce a globe Earth.
Gotcha.
And that's where the flat Earth comes in.
Okay.
The flat Earth, over 95% of flat Earthers claim the Earth is motionless, so they believe in gravity too. So they're keeping this false dichotomy going. Flat Earth and globe Earth are no different. They're both bullshit.
Really?
Yeah, so the Earth is level. It's the difference between flat and level.
So then why do you think people are having these arguments on two opposite sides of the spectrum? Someone believes like the Earth is round, but one other person believes the Earth is flat. So why is there an argument?
Because that's a false dichotomy. It's like the Republicans versus Democrats, literally. The fact is, they're both pushing they're both models, both of those models are wrong. Because they both require a physical downwards acceleration. Because most flat earthers claim the Earth is motionless. That's where the false dichotomy comes in. The Earth is actually pushing up against it.
That is really interesting because as someone like me, right, I kind of don't want to vote in this election, like knowing like we have like two of the same parties, almost like in the same apple tree. It's like they're the same people, they have the same plans, but no one knows it because they shoot on different spectrums. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, so that's what this flat Earth and globe Earth is. No different in politics.
Yes.
Physics, on the other hand, because all of these flat earthers deny physics too. Physics, how matter behaves on Earth, shows us that the globe Earth is impossible.
If they believe physics don't exist, right, then what about like Sir Isaac Newton and Albert Einstein? I mean, there's so many different ways.
The irony is that the first law of motion, Newton's first law of motion, actually debunks gravity, because the first law is an object at rest will remain at rest unless there's a force acting on it. So when I'm holding this, technically it's at rest, and I release it, there's an acceleration. Acceleration requires a force, but there is no force in free fall, which means there's no acceleration.
Okay, so like the heavier you are, right, the further you fall, right?
Well,
but some people believe if you drop a penny off of a building and it goes like directly straight, it could kill someone. Is that true?
It could, I think, and it's not because that penny is accelerating down. It's because it's losing momentum, so it's decelerating from the constant.
Okay.
So the higher it is, the more time it has to decelerate, and the more time it has to decelerate, the greater the impact's going to be from the constant. Gotcha. So that's what's happening.
Oh, that's actually pretty sick.
No, yeah, it's actually pretty. So let me ask you this: do you think there's a possibility that we have been lied to about the nature of the Earth, or are you 100% convinced that it is a ball?
We have been lied about a lot of stuff in life.
Definitely.
I mean, I do have to admit that. There's some people who still believe that the Big Bang Theory did not exist. I mean, there are some people that do believe that. There are people that believe that the Earth is just like here for reasons like unknown. Like people still believe that.
Yeah.
Like people believe like us humans, we're doomed for another extinction because of like how history is repeated. So the Ice Age, so many dinosaurs and stuff. So I don't know. That is an interesting question. But what I believe is, yes, we have been lied to, because at the end of the day, in actual what you've been teaching me, right, kind of contradicts so many other stuff. And at the end of the day, it's almost like, what can we believe at this point?
Exactly. So So would it be fair to say that you're not 100% convinced that the Earth is a ball then?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're not 100%. Okay, so you're
No.
open. That's good. That's good.
No. Because in the Mercator projection, back in middle school and high school, we used to have a massive Mercator projection where
yes.
like the global map was there.
Yes.
But some people were like, but that's not the way the Earth looks. So, but it looks flat in some classrooms, and then that's where it got like really fascinating to me. And like,
So-
I'm like, maybe if you put that in kind, maybe you are right at that point, because like even the Mercator projection like says that.
Fun fact though, a 100% accurate map doesn't exist.
That is
All
true.
maps
That is
are
true.
incorrect.
That is true. A long time ago, people thought that California was an island, but it's not an island at all. Like some European explorers thought this was an island, and we had like amazing people, amazing culture. I mean, that is still true to this day, but California's not an island. Maybe they're thinking about like Hawaii, which was like, further off the coast of the Pacific. But
Sure.
yeah, that's interesting.
So let me ask you this, I guess. What will be the number one proof that makes you believe that the Earth is a ball, I guess? What's keeping you from believing that still?
I feel like it's more like me being like lied to from like the media and like school and stuff like that. Because if you, that's really fascinating, because I believe, probably you can agree with me on this. Do you believe that like our schools have just been lying to us, like feeding us like bogus claims and information sometimes, just to like not really tell us the facts? Like for an example, like college doesn't teach us about money, but people don't know how to have spending habits, and they waste money on like useless stuff.
Yeah.
So that's also a really interesting fact. So do you think like our schools have been lying to us about like the basic necessities of life?
100%. 100%. So yeah, they're definitely, in my opinion, schools are not there for education. They're more for indoctrination. So this is how life is. This is what you're supposed to do, and that's just the way it is. So you can't question it. You just have to accept it if you want to get a good grade.
Now the thing is, right, if we're talking about like a free-falling item, right, and it hits the ground, right, then why are people believing like on otter boxes or like these devices that prove to be shock-proof, like if you just bounce it off? Do you actually believe this stuff like companies are endorsing? Because for some reason otter boxes exploded in popularity because people believe, oh yeah, it can protect your phone from like a high critical damage. But I've seen YouTube videos where their phones are absolutely destroyed, and it kind of debunks that theory. So what do you think about that?
Well, it depends, I think, on the materials and the amount of impact. Like, higher you drop something, the more higher impact you're gonna have.
Yeah.
But again, that's not because objects accelerate down. Again, it's literally just a difference in velocity that happens. So again, a deceleration from the constant is gonna give you a higher impact the more an object decelerates. So again, it just has to do with the height and the materials that a case is built from. That's gonna protect your phone.
I might be a computer science major in cybersecurity, but this is actually really fascinating because like I've always been interested in like physics and stuff like that. But like at the end of the day, I'm like, maybe like the school has like lied to us about so much information. It's like that's why like sometimes like there is like this other saying, right? It's called like the college trap. It's called the college trap. It's like universities are here to keep you for such a long time just for them to like suck all the money out of you.
Yes.
Now here's the thing, right? Like when we tell it to counselor, they're like, no, that's not true. Like don't believe all that stuff. But coming from someone like me, who's like still in RCC and about to come to UCR, right? It's almost like weird because like now I'm like asking myself, maybe it is true. Maybe my computer science degree has like proven to myself that maybe it's like, oh yeah, you have to be here for 3.5 years. I'm 22 by the way, so it's almost like it's like so weird like how the school system like treats you.
Yeah, they treat you literally just like they don't treat you like a person, that's for sure. They treat you like a number.
They treat you like almost like a dollar sign.
There you
like,
go.
You just
there
see like dollar signs walking around.
Exactly.
So like, actually, one question I do want to ask you is: do you think that we're all living in a matrix? Like this world that we're living in is not real. Like we're always controlled by something or someone in our life. Like when someone says freedom, right? What do you think about freedom? Because like in this world, it almost feels like we don't have a lot of freedom because of the amount of information, politics, guiding information.
Yes.
Like, I could talk about, like, political conflicts and war, but obviously that would cause, like, a protest here. So definitely not going to talk about that. But at the end of the day, right, like, do you personally think we're living in a matrix? Like this world is like fabricated based on like the reality that we see it as?
Exactly.
Like,
I actually do think that. I think this whole society construct that we created is literally like the Matrix, where we're literally born into it and we just accept it for what it is.
Keanu Reeves, like
yeah. I know some people like to think of the Matrix even further, like, oh, this is like a simulation too. Like I don't go into that. But like the construct that the people that were here before us created for us, I would say that is the Matrix, but not literally the whole. The whole, I think reality is real. It's physical, and I don't think it's a simulation.
Okay.
But again, the Matrix, as in like a construct that was not real for us, definitely. Like
yeah, like another thing is right. Like if you think about it, like all the stuff that we deal with, problems that we deal with right in this world, can be simulated in like a simulation, literally.
Sure.
Because like, you know, if you deal with, you know, you deal with mental health, anxiety, depression, and anxiety, right? You deal with all these mental health disorders. But then when you tell people about it, they're like, oh no, it's fake. You can get over it. You know, life is not going to throw you a bone. You just have to keep on doing this stuff.
Yes.
And therapy is literally milking so much people's money just because the de facto therapist is like, okay, can we really protect humans? Can we really protect this and stuff? But what do you think about that? Do you think we're just being lied to about like every single thing we're doing? Because I personally believe that. Because I personally believe like this stuff is just not really interesting because I'm a person who does a lot of research and deep dives into information.
Okay.
That's why I love having these conversations because like simple-minded people wouldn't understand it sometimes unless like they do a lot of research about it. Because like I've talked to people and they say, Adam, I don't do a single research in my life. How's research going to help you? A study from Harvard has shown that research can help you a lot. You just need to make sure on what you research on. Because there's some people who research for the bad and then they do bad stuff, and then you realize at the end of the day, why would you like enjoy that?
Yeah, exactly. So when it comes to the shape of the Earth, for example, we're dealing with physics. We're dealing with something that's practical, that's real, substance, right? Mm-hmm. So if somebody makes a claim to me that contradicts what I already know how physics behaves, then we have a problem, especially if you're claiming a theory of downwards acceleration. So again, real quick, just before you go.
Yeah, of course.
The number one proof that debunks the globe is the fact that objects don't accelerate down in free fall. But the number two is the dimensions of the Earth, they tell us, is 3,959 miles in radius. So if we use the Pythagorean theorem to measure for how much curvature there should be every mile, again, we get these numbers. So in the first mile, they should be that 8-inch drop. I don't have them here, but you could do the math. I only did 5, 10, 50. Point being is that in 3 miles, there should be a 6-foot drop of water being level. So if we actually went in nature to a giant lake that was at rest, they're trying to tell us that the surface of that lake is bending and increasing the bend every mile. But we understand when the lake is at rest, the lake is always going to be horizontal, level, in other words. Water doesn't have the physical ability to maintain a shape.
This also proves you why sunken cities, are here in Los Angeles. Because a lot of sunken cities, they built like land, like cities, like on a lake bed. And when that lake bed subsides, then the entire Earth subsides. Because what I've heard about is like trenches become mountains and mountains become trenches.
Okay.
So think about it. If you put that into context, like the Challenger Deep is literally, like, a mountain. It's literally a mountain, but it's underwater. So if you put this into theory, right?
Yes.
This could easily like put Mount Everest. Like Mount Everest is actually small. People don't know. Mount Everest is like incredibly small. You might think by seeing on drone videos or footage, you might think Mount Everest is like this big, ginormous stuff, right? Yeah. But reality is, it's like very tiny compared to like other stuff. So yeah, I do believe in that part because if you put Mount Everest like here, the entire water will just you wouldn't able to see anything.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, even if water did sink, once it stops moving and it's at rest again, it's never going to maintain this dip. This dip will show that it's being poured out. If anything.
That is true. Yeah. That is also true.
So again, when water's contained at rest, again, water will always collapse and form an equal surface, which is level, which is horizontal.
Gotcha.
So again, the physics of water, again, also proves that the Earth cannot be a globe. Also by the fact that, again, objects that don't accelerate in free fall, that's a requirement of the globe, which is not there. So these are the two number one proofs that debunk the globe. It's the geometry of the Earth and the fact that gravity is not a pull, it's a push.
And also, I'm really happy that you're doing this. I also saw that you were handing out like on your YouTube QR codes.
Yes, here, you could take this with me. Do you have any questions before you go?
Absolutely not. You've kind of like changed people's minds, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a point of perspective.
Exactly.
But, you know, all I gotta say is just keep doing what you're doing.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the chat, man. You're really
no
open-minded, man.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, stay open-minded. And,
Yeah, I do a lot of research. Like when I enter like these challenges, right?
Yeah.
I love people when they test my grades. So thank you.
Exactly. Man, I appreciate it. Thank you, man, for the conversation. Yeah, take care, man. Appreciate that. So, hey.
Hi.
You have a question?
What are you talking about?
So, I have 3 very easy questions about water in specific.
You were talking about gravity. I remember like someone found like the equation for the universe, and gravity wasn't a part of it. It wasn't part of the equation.
Okay, so gravity. When you're talking about gravity, what do you mean by gravity? Are you talking
Just
about
like
a gravitational
pull.
field?
Yeah, the pull.
So, why do you believe?
Everything is just like the nuclear forces and stuff, right?
So you believe gravity is a pulling force that accelerates things towards the ground?
I don't think it's a force. I think it's just a feature, right? It's just
Feature?
Like,
So
it just happens. Like if something's like spinning really fast in gravity, it's just like it would like warp stuff around. I don't think it's like.
Well, let me ask you this:
Right?
if something is accelerating,
Yeah.
or in order to accelerate something, do you require a force in order to accelerate something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fact. If you want to accelerate anything, any piece of matter,
Yeah.
you're going to require a force. So in free fall, if people believe this moved down towards the ground from being at rest, then that's a claim of acceleration, which means you require a force, which means a force is always going to cause displacement. Again, the water is always going to react to the force. So if I accelerate this way, the water pushes back in the opposite direction. The water will always swish or react to a force. In free fall, that's not the case. So there's no effects of gravity or force in free fall or acceleration because objects don't accelerate down. So the fact is, gravity is not pulling you down towards the ground. It's the ground pushing up against you right now. So we're literally moving up. The whole Earth is moving up relative to us. So when you release an object, it just starts to lose momentum. So it decelerates and the Earth catches up. So that's why there's no effects of acceleration in free fall, because it doesn't exist. So this gravitational field that we're taught as a kid doesn't exist. It's all a lie because the globe Earth requires that belief. Because if we could prove that it's the ground pushing up and it's not pulling you down, and up is relative on a ball in every direction away from the center, how can the Earth be moving up if it was a ball?
Wait, but isn't the Earth like, aren't just planets just like traveling really fast through space?
Yeah, but they can only move in one direction at the same time. So if we're standing here, for example, and somebody's standing here, and somebody's standing here, and somebody's standing here, how can the Earth be moving up for everyone?
Because it's just really spinning. Really
Well,
fast,
if it's
right?
spinning, then the Earth is not moving up. It's moving sideways.
Yeah, but it's just, right?
Because in 3-dimensional space, the ground literally moving up.
Yeah.
So how can that work from a globe?
Well, it's just like spinning like really, really fast.
Well, a spin is
Right.
not necessarily moving up. It's just, if the Earth was spinning right now, the ground would be moving in that direction or that direction.
No, it is. It's just relative to us. Like,
But how can the Earth be moving in this direction, away from the center, from a ball?
Because like the planets are moving through space and stuff.
Oh man, what's up, man? You seen the video? Nah, you haven't? You're on there if you want to check it out. Yeah, no worries, man. Appreciate that.
Isn't that what it is? Like just like the solar system's like moving, everything's moving.
Well, that's what we're told, but that doesn't make any sense in my opinion. If something is spinning, not only will it not be moving up the Earth, the ground, it will actually push things off of it. So if you're standing on for example, like a merry-go-round, something that's spinning, what happens? You get pushed off, because of inertia. Your body wants to remain going in a straight line. So when you're spinning, you're just gonna get pushed off of the ball. And that's where this idea of gravity being a pulling force, comes in to explain how you're not flying off of the ball. So the people believe that the spin creates gravity, but it's actually the opposite. The spin will push you off of the ball. And they're saying that gravity keeps you on the ball, even though it's spinning. But it's all just stories. They're just made up. Doesn't really, make any sense physically. When it comes to physics, when we actually spin something here, it gets pushed off of it. So let me just show you this. When we release a helium balloon here on Earth, what direction does it go?
Goes up.
Why do you think it goes up?
Because the air's like lighter or whatever.
The air is more dense and is able to push up the helium balloon up, right? So I recreated buoyancy here in a container. I did it in a cargo van. So I have a helium balloon tied to a string and an apple. What direction would you say I accelerated the van? To the right or to the left?
Wait, what's happening?
Yeah, it's a cargo van, and I have a helium balloon and an apple tied to a string.
Oh, you're just driving.
And I'm driving. What direction did I accelerate this van? To the right or to the left?
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
No, I'm not a physics person.
It's very easy. I accelerate this to the right And the reason we know that is because the helium balloon is moving in that same direction. So what happened is when I accelerated the van is also carrying the air with it and pushing the air in that same direction. So the air is able to push anything that's less dense, like the helium, and it pushes it in that same direction. That's what buoyancy is. So
Wait, you're reversing or just driving forward?
I'm driving forward right here.
Oh, yeah.
So the apple is more dense than the air, so the air's not able to push it like the helium balloon. So the apple only appears to swing back. But it's not the apple moving back, it's the container moving towards the apple. So that motion of the container moving towards the apple pushes the air and pushes the helium. So,
yeah, but like, I don't know.
So again, when we're here on Earth and we release the helium balloon, the air's pushing up the helium, but what's pushing up the air?
What do you mean, what's pushing?
So the air cannot push itself in any direction. So when we release a helium balloon, that's an effect of a push. So the air's pushing up the helium because it's more dense. So what's pushing up the air up? That's pushing up the helium.
I think like that's the word push is just like semantics though. Like, cause like I think the helium just wants to go up. It's
Why
not
does
like
it
pushing? It's just
well, I don't know. You should
it's
look
just
up
lighter, right?
buoyancy.
Like,
buoyancy is an upwards thrust. Is it actual? It's a push. You can
Yeah.
look it up. So where's this push coming from? That's my point. What's pushing up the air? Because the air cannot push itself. The simple answer is that Earth is pushing up the air because it's carrying with it, like just like the van, the air is being carried by the Earth, and the air is pushing up the helium. Same thing with water. When air bubbles are rising through water, the water cannot push itself up to be able to push bubbles in that direction. It's the Earth that's pushing up the water, which is pushing up the air bubbles.
so like you have a theory that like
Well, that's demonstrable. That can be recreated. Buoyancy is an effect of motion.
yeah. What's your like whole idea?
My whole idea is that buoyancy debunks the globe Earth because buoyancy couldn't work if the Earth is moving up from a globe.
The Earth is not a globe because like if it was a globe, we'd be like spinning off of it. Is that
Well,
what
put it
you're
this way: if the Earth was a globe and we know that it's the Earth pushing up, that would mean the globe Earth will have to be expanding into infinity to be able to compensate for that upwards push. Because up will be in every direction away from the center on a ball. The fact is, the Earth is not a ball; it's a level plane. It's an extended level plane that's moving up in one direction only. So everyone's up is the same. So your up is the same from people in Australia and China. Everyone's up is parallel. Again, that motion of the Earth debunks the globe Earth because it can only work from a level surface. Couldn't work from a globe. And buoyancy proves that it is the Earth pushing up. Not only that, the fact that there's no physical measurement of a downwards force or acceleration also proves that the Earth is pushing up because, again, you require that downwards acceleration on a globe. Because if it's the Earth moving up, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, but I think I agree with you that I don't think gravity is a force, but I think like the Earth is a sphere though.
But why do you believe that, if I may ask? Why do you believe the Earth is a sphere?
That's just it just makes everything easier to explain. That's what theories are. Like if everything like agrees with something, it's just you need like a lot of proof to like go against like stuff like that, you know.
Do you know the difference between a theory and I guess a scientific fact, I guess?
I mean, like theories are just like what people believe.
Exactly. A scientific fact, for example, like the
You said buoyancy. Like everyone believes in buoyancy.
yeah, buoyancy is
That's
again.
just a fact.
It's just I can demonstrate what buoyancy is. Again, it's a chain reaction of motion. Something pushing on something else to push something else to push something else.
Mm-hmm.
Gravity, on the other hand, they don't have a demonstration of how a pulling force can create buoyancy. They just have an explanation. So are we going to go with what we can recreate and demonstrate to ourselves, or are we going to go with just theories and explanations?
Yeah, but it's just everyone like is believing in the most popular theory.
Exactly.
And then so.
But does that make it real? So if everybody believed in Santa Claus, does that make Santa Claus real?
I mean, no. But like that like the idea of Santa Claus like helps explain like a lot of other interactions on Earth. So then everyone just goes with it, you know. So that's why I think the Earth is like a globe because like it just make everything like easier to explain.
Well,
Like how would you explain like someone taking a picture from like the space station?
Well, first of all, NASA admits they don't take real photographs of the Earth. They're all CGI, so that's not even up for debate. But even if they did claim they were real, I would say those images defy physics. So if I showed you an image of me flying or a video of me flying, you wouldn't believe I could fly, would you?
What do you mean?
Like if I showed you a video of me flying through downtown LA, you know, like Superman, would you believe I can actually fly?
No,
Why not?
because you can't fly.
That defies physics, right?
I mean, if you have like a drone, then I'd assume like
literally
it'd be a
just by my own willpower, no external forces. You know, just me flying like Superman.
I would ask you to do a loop-de-loop in the air and then do like a couple of spins.
What if I told you I can't demonstrate it right now, but I can show you a video of me doing that? A loop-de-loop and all that.
No, I think that'd be like CGI, you know?
Exactly, because that defies physics. Any claim about this reality that defies physics, for example, if you tell me you can walk through walls, stuff like that,
Yeah.
I won't believe it. Even if you show me a video of it. You know, I would have to literally see you right now walk through a wall to actually accept it. But you know that's not going to happen. You know, so again, the globe Earth, not only does it require the downward acceleration, which is not there, the number 2 proof, in my opinion, is the fact that water doesn't have any convexity to it. So when water is contained at rest, like a lake, and it's miles across, the surface of that water would never bend. So they're trying to tell us that the Earth does bend by this. They tell us that the radius of the Earth is 3,959 miles, which means there has to be curvature.
Can't you prove that?
Yeah, so we can actually go to a lake to see if the water actually does bend. But the fact is, lakes are going to be parallel or level regardless of the distance. But they're trying to tell us that that curvature drop increases every mile. So in the first mile is an 8-inch drop, second mile 32 inches, and by the third mile it should be a 6-foot deviation. So if we start a level structure at 5 feet, there should be a 6-foot drop in 3 miles. But the water doesn't have the ability to bend and maintain that bend. That defies physics. Water will always collapse and form an equal surface, which is level. You know, that's the physics of water. So again, the convexity of the Earth that we're told, based on the radius, doesn't exist either.
Yeah, but like a water body, like what if the bench is like, you don't see it as
Well, that's the thing. Even if we couldn't see it in 3 miles, we should be able to physically measure it.
Yeah, but like, it's not?
It's not.
What do you
If we actually build a level structure of a body of water, it would show that water doesn't deviate from the level.
That I do not believe.
Okay, well, this is one of the...
You're saying that's like as a fact, but I'm not sure. You know?
Sure, well, I would say again...
I'm doubting. I'm just doubting.
No, again, I don't expect you to accept all this information off the bat, you know? But again, in 10 miles, there should be a 66-foot drop. That's a 6-story building. And 10 miles is not that far, if you ask me. There's lakes that are easily over 20 miles. So a 10-mile lake with a 60-foot drop, 66-foot drop, is just retarded, in my opinion, you know? No offense, but yeah, it's not there.
But it's like, it's not a drop. Like the curved Earth is like, if you just keep going straight, it just looks level. But
yeah, if you're moving with it, you're always on top. So,
yeah.
But if we build a level structure from the plumb and keep it perpendicular from the plumb to build it level, then the water should deviate from the level. If it's not level.
But you said you've gone out and it doesn't deviate like that.
It doesn't deviate. Nobody's actually done this test, but all the blueprints for construction, for bridges, all show that they use plumbs and levels. All blueprints show no curvature. So all the blueprints of construction, when they lay down railroads, hundreds and hundreds of miles, none of those blueprints show any curvature of the Earth. They're all work from planar principles, Euclidean plane geometry. Have you heard of Euclidean plane geometry? It's again, we don't use spherical geometry when we construct long distances. Yes. It's all done from the level. Assuming the Earth is horizontal. That's how everything works. A little bit, yeah. I'm a little shaking. I know. After this one, I'm already gonna be done. Yeah, should have brought a sweater. But I mean, do you have any questions for me before you go? I mean.
Oh wait, like what other stuff like do you have other than those?
To be honest, this is in my opinion the biggest lie on Earth by far. So a lot of people tell me, "Oh, do you talk about any other topics?" Right? In my opinion, every other topic right now is a distraction from this. This is literally by far the most censored because it's the most important truth. To know that we don't live on a ball and that we evolved from monkeys and that life has no meaning. The fact is, life does have purpose, and I don't know what that is. You know, I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm trying to share this information with others because I know this is being suppressed.
Wait, are you saying you don't believe we evolved from monkeys?
Oh no. No, yeah, this whole idea of the Big Bang and outer space and all of that is just made up. The fact is, nobody knows how this place came to be. But the fact is, I don't know if you've heard of the first law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only transform from one form to another. That proves that we didn't come from nothing.
Yeah, but like, can't you look back into space and see like the Big Bang?
Well, that's all theoretical. That's all made up stories.
That's what NASA did. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, you know how light travels and it's like really slow and stuff? Like, and we're just like, when we look out into space, we're seeing like trillions of like years old of light just coming and hitting us because it takes like time for light to come. Like, they can look that far and like that specific, just like see the Big Bang and stuff.
They say that, but in reality, that's all just made up stories. What they're actually seeing when they're looking at supposedly dark distances in space, they're just looking at supposedly different colors. They just give different colors and they just interpret these colors to fit whatever they want. They draw CGI images, whatever they want. And everything about the sky is made up. Nobody's actually been higher, in my opinion, than like 30 miles. So the highest human beings have ever gone. Have you seen the Red Bull jump? No. So it's like Felix, I think that's his name. He went up like almost a little over 20 miles with a helium balloon though he did. and then he recorded him jumping from that height. And in my opinion, that's the highest human beings have ever gone.
Like not Mount Everest or something?
Well, that's way higher than Mount Everest. Mount Everest is only about 5 miles in altitude. Yeah. So around 25 miles or 30 miles is the highest humans have ever gone, in my opinion, based on the evidence shown, other than NASA, because NASA's all bullshit. You know, they claim to go even higher, obviously, but that's all bullshit. You know, so again, people could believe all of that stuff, but physics shows that the globe Earth is impossible. The physics of water, the fact that there is no physical downwards acceleration that's detectable or measurable, and yeah, that's why gravity is always going to be a theory, because it's not there, because it doesn't exist. But it is a requirement of the globe Earth. Without that belief of objects going down, there is no globe.
I'm pretty sure, like, I think at least, gravity's not real. It's just like you're spinning so fast that like you're gonna stay onto the thing.
But that's the opposite
I know,
effects.
like you're saying like a centrifuge, like if you spin really fast, you get spin off.
Yes, because of inertia. Your body wants to remain going in a straight line. So a spin will just push you off of it. You can't stick to it because of a spin. That doesn't make any sense to me. You know. But again, they do say that, which again is a contradiction of what physics shows. You know, just like in free fall, we should see this effects of motion, of displacement, but we don't. But they still want us to believe that. Again, they want us to disregard the common sense to just believe theories. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
I mean,
but like how rocket ships work, right? Like the Earth is already spinning so fast, it escapes its pull. You've got to go faster than it. So that's why we're burning a bunch of rock fuel to get up, right?
Yeah.
So like, isn't that the entire point of like gravity? It's like to escape its like field, you got to go faster than it.
Well, that's the thing. The funny thing is that in order to escape,
so like, how would your like flat like
well, the Earth is pushing up against you. In order to escape the Earth pushing up, you have to move faster than the Earth. So that's the reality. So your thinking is the opposite. That it's a pulling force you have to overcome, but it's actually the push of the Earth you have to overcome. You have to move faster than the Earth moving up, so you can actually gain altitude. And that's why you require a force, aka rockets, to push off of the air to be able to create that gap between the Earth and the rocket. Because you have to move faster than the Earth moving up.
If the Earth is pushing that fast, then how come you can like just jump? Like if I jump and I won't fly, because you're saying the Earth is going to catch up to me.
Yeah.
But like if like the Earth is already moving that fast, like why can I stand? You know? Like,
well, you feel your weight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When babies are born, they can't stand because again they have to. You have to balance your weight, and the only reason why you have to balance your weight is because there's a force when we're here on Earth, but the force is you're not being pulled down, is pushing up. So the fact that we have weight shows that there is something pushing up against, and we have to balance that weight in order to stand. So again, and then again, if you want to jump higher, you have to add extra force to be able to jump. And again, more force you add, the more you elevate. But instantly, because your body has inertia, wants to remain at rest, it starts to decelerate instantly, so the Earth just catches up again. So your body never actually moved down again. It's just started to decelerate, and the Earth caught up to you again.
So you're saying you're saying the Earth is like a plate going up?
It's always moving up, yeah. So when you jump, you just increase the force a little bit, but then the Earth catches up again, and it always catches up, always. Because it's always moving, it's always constant. And a lot of people like to say, oh, well, the Earth has to be accelerating, and the fact is no. Because if the Earth was accelerating, our weight will be increasing by that second as well. Because a weight is an effect of a force. I don't know if you knew that. You know, you can't have weight without something pushing up against you. You know, weight is an effect of a push and a resistance to the push. You know, something has to make contact with something else in order to be able to measure weight. Yeah. So again, your body has weight because the Earth is pushing up against you. You know, and your body has inertia resisting that push, which gives you your weight. You know,
I thought weight was just something you feel, you know, because of gravity.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
isn't that the entire idea?
I don't know if you knew. Have you heard of zero-G plane flights?
So
free fall and free fall. I don't know if you knew, people that experience these flights, they say that they don't feel weight. It's all weightlessness. That's why they're able to float inside the vessel. That's why it's called zero-G. Yeah, it's a free-falling airplane. So again, in free fall there is no force acting on you, so everything just floats. You know, that's how they simulate outer space in free fall. I don't know if you knew that, because in free fall there's no force acting on you. That's why, in my opinion, free fall comes from a free body. A free-falling object is a free body, free from any forces, and that's where free fall, in my opinion, comes in. You're free falling. There's no force acting on you anymore. So, in my opinion, what's happening is you're decelerating at that point, because the Earth is no longer pushing up against you. So, when that push is no longer there, you just start to free fall because you're decelerating. You're losing that momentum now. You know, and the Earth just catches up again.
Wait, but that's not any new information. Like you said like, the balloon thing, like 0G flights, that's just falling. But like you jump off a balloon, that's just falling. Like what's the point? Like isn't that it? Like I'm pretty sure like what you're doing when you're going up and do a 0G flight is just falling. Like that's what most people think. It's not like a.
What is falling? If I was to ask you, okay, because if something is moving, an object is moving through space, is either a constant velocity, is either accelerating or is decelerating, right? So what would falling be in those three categories? Is it accelerating, decelerating, or is it moving at a constant? So because you say the word fall, it's falling, right? What do you mean by it's falling? Is it accelerating or decelerating? Well, again, if you believe the Earth is a globe, then you have to believe that it's accelerating because there's a change of velocity that happens. So it's either accelerating or it's decelerating. Okay. So again, the fact is a deceleration. Yeah. So that's the fact. Oh no, just having conversations. Yeah. Are you smarter than the spirit? Yeah, just asking questions about water, how it behaves. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I gotta go.
All right, man. Appreciate the chat. Thank you. All right.
Are you tabling like every week?
I actually come here. I come here every other week or every 2 weeks, but I also go to USC a lot too. USC and UCR are my favorites.
Isn't that like far? Like far?
Well, I actually live in between both, so I'm able to accommodate to both.
Not
yeah.
UCLA though?
That one's a little bit further, but I do want to go there soon.
Isn't UCLA close to USC though? Aren't they like next to each other?
Kind of. Did I give you a flyer?
No.
No, you're taking it.
No, it's fine.
You sure? All right.
I'll see you like 2 weeks or something.
All right, we'll see.